Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to just another manic Monday. Not like Sunday. Ha! It's the free-range human show of choice. It's your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards, coming at you live here on 103.9 FM WYAB, the 50,000-watt flamethrower from right out of here in Flora, Mississippi at the Cotton Exchange Plaza. We better be careful. We might burn the whole thing down like that kamikaze pilot that tried to fly into here the other day. Yeah, I ain't forgot about y'all. Snitches. Calling and crying about me posting a video. They're going to talk crap about me online after I was nice enough to take it down. You want a war? You got a war. Anyway, this is the Clay Edwards Show. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a motivational Monday is what it is. All my bag chasers out there. We don't fret about it being Monday. We're glad it's Monday. What is that? As an opportunity to get out there and put more money in the bank, more food on the table. Man, speaking of money in the bank, I was I don't want to say where, but I don't know if they want their business out there, but I was at a local business in Brandon Saturday and stopped by to grab some stuff, and of course everywhere I shop at is local if I can help it. But anyway, and they were talking about they had sold a vehicle, and they're like, "Don't put the money in the bank. They said, don't put the money in the bank. We'll spend it, but keep the cash at the house." And I was like, man, I knew exactly what they meant when they said that. Because, y'all, I'm one of the last people to ever get a debit card. I mean, I held out as long as possible before getting a bank account as an adult and getting a debit card. I did not want one. Because I knew what would happen the minute I got a debit card. I would get micro billed to death, and I would start buying crap online, and I'd take Ambien and start ordering stuff from places like Amazon and yada, yada, yada. And that's exactly what I did. I knew me, and I knew exactly what I would do. Every subscription I could possibly have. I had $20 come out of my bank yesterday, and it was tied to my PayPal account. It was like, and I went back and looked at the history, and it's come out 4 months in a row now. And I'm Googling it. What in the hell is this for $20? And apparently it's some app that I have down. Not even an app. It must be something on my computer. Artistly. It's apparently something I use to maybe edit videos or make thumbnails, but it's got to be operating under a different name because I cannot figure out what I have done signed up for this $20 a month to make this. Unless it's coming out as I bet you it's DBA. Maybe it's vidIQ. It's got to be. Maybe they doing the DBA as another business. But I did look. I tried to figure that out on Google, and I did not have any luck figuring that out. So when I get off work today, my mission is, when I get off the air, my mission is to figure out where this $20 a month is going, and if I can track it down and make it go away if I'm not using it. But man, we get micro billed to death, don't we? I mean, I get about once every couple of months, I go through and try to look at all my subscriptions. What am I watching? What am I using? What am I not using? And I'm telling you, if you'll just go to, and I told these people this very thing, and they knew already. We all know. But I told them, I said, if you'll just go through and threaten to cancel these subscriptions, you'll get them for half price or free or $1 a month for 3 months. Then I think you basically got to pay for it full price for a month. Repeat cycle. 3 months at a discount, a month at full price, and then you'll give you another 3 months not to leave. And I keep meaning to do that with my XM satellite because they're like the world's worst or the world's best, depending upon your perspective, about basically giving it to you free not to cancel your subscription. And I'm paying a full $30 a month right now, I think. I do listen to it a lot. I mean, it's podcast or YouTube Premium, podcast, video podcast on YouTube, XM, of course, WYAB, in that order. But I probably listen to as much or more XM than anything when I'm in the car, especially in the mornings. Like on the way here, I usually listen to Patriot Radio or the wrestling. They have a 24-hour wrestling channel on there, wrestling news channel. Hey, y'all know I like to listen. I like to talk about wrestling more than I actually like to watch wrestling. But I like to keep up with what's going on. So when WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or any of these big pay-per-views come around, I can at least got a halfway idea what's going on, who's wrestling who, because I just do not have the time, the wherewithal, the patience, any of that to sit down and watch Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, AEW, Dynamite, none of that. I'm not committing 2 to 3 hours in front of a TV for anything, period. I don't do it for football. Now, I mean, Joe Rogan, something like that, but I can have that on in the background while I'm cleaning the house or do a show prep or whatever. All right, real quick, man. We got so many great sponsors on the show that I had to spend some time over the weekend and using AI to actually help put me a schedule together to make sure that everybody gets their proper and promised amount of ad reads over the weekend. The show is basically sold out. We got 2 spots available. For the first time in a long time, we had some political candidates that were running spaces, and we had a temporary ad going for a builder for my buddies over there that are developing that Hyde Park subdivision in Brandon, Ulist Realty. Y'all swing by, check that out, man. No, they're not on the show right now, but I do owe them. I feel like I owe them a little bit because I took a couple days off, and I still got a bunch of videos I got to post of some work we did together. But if you're looking to move to Brandon, man, Ulist Realty, my buddy Brad Burleson over there, right off 18 on the corner of 18 and Star Brandon Road, right behind Polk's Drug there. They just developed a new neighborhood, Hyde Park in the Brandon School District and all that. Check that out, man. But anyway, I say all that to say, we've got so many dang sponsors that I lose track sometimes, just admittingly. But we got to start doing 2 ad reads a segment, but we're going to make them shorter. They're going to be shorter, I promise. So with that said, Ellis Autoplex is first up. Y'all be sure to get out to Ellis Autoplex any this week and check out what all they have to offer right there. Highway 471. I'm looking at Highway 49 out the window here. Highway 471, Flowood, Mississippi. Little Truck City, as we call it. Swing by, check them out. Tell Casey I said hello and get you rolling in if you can handle a 100,000-mile truck, but you could save $30,000-$40,000 off the sticker price, would you do that? I would. I did, as a matter of fact. My Raptor, I paid half of what the sticker price is for an 80,000-mile vehicle. So, and I'm okay with that. I've got me a extended, I guess everybody calls them extended warranties, but an extended service contract, $200 a month roughly. I will tell y'all a secret, a little car business secret. We got a lot we're going to talk about today. Well, look, let me finish up the Ellis Autoplex thing. Check them out online, ellisautoplex.com. Don't forget they buy cars too. Locally owned, family ran, and family operated. Husband, wife duo, got a great team there as well. So swing by and check them out today. So if you're going to buy a vehicle, and this ain't at Ellis so much, but like say new car dealerships where you can do the financing there and they sell you warranties and all that stuff. A lot of these warranty companies, they have this thing they have to do. I believe it's a law. It's got an abbreviation that it's called. But so a lot of times you'll finance a car and you'll finance a warranty into that car, an extended warranty, a service contract, whatever you want to call it. Well, so let's just say it's for 3 years, 36,000 additional miles. Well, say you finance your vehicle for 6 years. Well, that warranty runs up after 3 years if it's only used, and there's a bunch of weird things in place. But like say you buy a new car and it comes with a 5-year extended warranty. Anyway, it's weird how it all works. But long story short, you pay the extra that warranty cost every payment, whether it's 36, 60, 72 months. And you pay interest on that the entire time. Well, that $3,000 warranty could end up being $6,000 by the time you paid interest on that thing over the length of that financing. And the dealership's not making that money. It's the bank is making that money for financing you the warranty. So there's a thing, it's not called a VPP, but it's got a short-term abbreviation. You can just tell them, hey, I want to finance the warranty separate. You got to put 10% down. So let's say it's a $3,000 extended warranty. Put 10% down, $300, $500, whatever. And then you pay 24 months, 0 interest on it. They can't charge interest on these things. And you just give them your, tie it to a bank account and boom, it comes out. That's what I did on the Raptor because, those F-150, those EcoBoost F-150s have I forget those things that go out on them all the time, but it's a SPP is what it's called. SPP, Special Payment Plan. Thank you, Casey. SPP, and 0 interest on it. Now, the dealership's going to hate you for doing it because they're not going to make the money for selling the warranty, but that's just me giving you some good car advice. If you're buying from like a big franchise dealer or something like that, or you're buying a new car, especially, you know, in these dang warranties have gotten so, I keep calling it a warranty, these service contracts have gotten so expensive. If you'll tell them you just want to do SPP, and if you can afford it, it can save you a lot of money over the length of that car, that payment, you know, the length of paying for that vehicle. I still recommend if you're doing a new vehicle, I say lease on a new vehicle. I wouldn't go buy a new vehicle. I would lease a new vehicle. Throw everything you think you know about extended warranties, not extended warranty, I'm sorry, about mileage overages and all that stuff. Throw all that out the window. If you're going to buy like a Honda, a Toyota, a Mazda, they got such good residual value on these. They do such good leases. And I don't know about Chevy and Ford and stuff, but on the imports, lease. You can usually, let's say you do a 3-year lease. At the end of that lease, you can usually buy the vehicle from them for less than what you would owe on it if you were buying it, so to say. If you had bought it, financed it to buy instead of leased it. I'm a big fan of leasing. It's not, you know, you don't go in there and do any negotiating, none of that stuff. Go in there, you lease it, and you're like, well, I want to buy. Daddy always told me you had to buy a car. Leasing's a scam. Leasing is not a scam. They did some shady stuff back in the 80s and 90s, but that's long, long gone. The internet killed a lot of that. Leasing is a reward for having good credit now. If your credit is good enough for you to lease, I highly recommend leasing a vehicle. You're like, well, Clay, I want to buy it. I don't want to lease it. Bro, do you ever really own your vehicle anyway? Real talk. Actually, I mean, seriously, when was the last time the majority of y'all kept a car long enough to pay it off? Not many of you. Not many of you. And if you do, you can still, when that lease is over, buy the car for cheaper than what you would owe on it at that same point in time if you were financing it. That's your car buying, how to save money buying a car lesson of the day. Do an SPP on your warranty, and that'll save you thousands of dollars over the term of that vehicle. And lease if you're doing a new vehicle. But if you're buying pre-owned, swing by and see my boy Casey and the crew at Ellis Autoplex, Highway 471, Brandon, Flowood, Mississippi. It's in that weird little nook. There it goes, Brandon, Flowood, Brandon, right there by Pine Lake Church and all that. All right, that was segment 1 of the day. When we come back, well, I spent all day doing show prep yesterday, and that first segment was none of it, so that was a bonus segment. Don't forget, coming up in the 3rd hour today, because it is a 3-hour extravaganza, we'll have my good friend and yours, All Gasser, No Breaks. Andrew Gosser will be here in the studio, and that segment was brought to you by 042 Wine and Spirits. Swing by, see him today, right there, Highway 80, next to Sonny's Barbecue, right there in Brandon. Right down the road from my other good friends, El Patrio. But look, swing by. They got over 200 bourbons there for you. Over 400 wines to choose from. If you can't find it at 042 Wine and Spirits, you probably don't need it. Let's just be honest. But look, man, they got way more than just bourbons and wines. They got all your favorite ready-to-drink cocktails, gins, vodkas, and specialty drinks. Swing by. See them today. Oh, yeah, did I mention award-winning and locally owned? 042 Wine and Spirits. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on 103.9 FM, the 50,000-watt flamethrower right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on 103.9 FM, WYAB. Streaming worldwide at Save JXN on Facebook, YouTube, and X, and of course we're over on Clay Edwards Show at Rumble, at Clay Edwards Show. Be sure to hit like, subscribe, share. We just got everybody's live chats pulled up on the screen there, so it's really cool, man. If you do decide to watch the show online, you can participate in the live chat. We pull it up on the screen, and you can see everybody's chats from all the different platforms that are watching the show. We usually end up with 300-400 chats by the end of the show, especially on a 3-hour mega show like today. We'll have a bunch of live chats there for you guys to look at. And what's pretty cool is they end up going back and forth and having their own arguments and debates and conversations in the live chat. So it can be completely off topic from what I'm discussing. And look, there's a lot of people that get in there and talk all kind of crap about y'all's favorite morning radio host, Clay Edwards. By the way, if you're watching online, you see the FAFO shirt, hoodie that I'm wearing. They are available for pre-purchase now on the website at buyfafo.com. That's buyfafo.com. And look, if you buy a hoodie and you use the promo code FAFO at checkout, you can get a shirt for half price. That's right. Hoodie at full price, shirt for half price. Pre-orders only. Promo code FAFO at buyfafo.com. We just had Chip Matthews' show wrap up this morning, 6A to 7A, as it does every Monday through Friday. Chip will also be here live every Tuesday, 9 to 10. 9 to 10. But did you know that Chip Matthews, our very own, has a pizza shop out there in Brandon, in the Reservoir Brandon, 047 Brandon, there at Fannin Mart, called Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. Some of the best pizza in all of Rankin County. Right there, you can dine in, you can get it carry out, or of course it's available for delivery on all the delivery apps. Now they're closed on Mondays, but don't let that deter you from checking them out. They're open from 4 p.m. to midnight. Somebody backed into the front door, and the whole front glass and all that's knocked out right now, so you're having to enter in the rear. But like I said, just maybe focus on the delivery or the carry-out stuff right now, and try the Pig. It's my personal favorite. It's got pork, it's got ham, and it's got bacon, all cooked on it from scratch, so you don't get all that burnt bacon. And you get the bacon fat, the grease that cooks down into the pizza. Oh, man, it's so good. I want some right now. I ain't had one in a while. I've had pizza is one of the sacrifices I had to make when I decided to really focus on my fitness and my health. And, I mean, look, I like the cauliflower crust. It's good. But I just like my regular crust better. If I'm being completely honest. If I'm going to eat pizza, I'm going to eat pizza. I don't want diet pizza. Anyway, check them out. Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. All right, man, let's see here. We got a big old victory. Now let's get into the show. But we got the opening stuff out of the way. We got my Monday morning rambling out of the way. We're live here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi Studios. If you want to chime in, the Guns and Gear text is 769-241-1944. The Mazda Jackson phone line is 601-879-0002. Man, look. Trump told us, he said, Clay, we're going to win so much, you're going to get tired of winning. Let me tell you, I was so tired of winning, I had to get in shape again. But now, Big Daddy Trump, my Lord and Savior, I'm not tired anymore. I want to win more. Put it in my veins, Big Daddy. Well, look, there's nothing that I like doing more than winning at the Supreme Court. It's just become a favorite pastime of mine and my other MAGA Knights out there. We love racking up SCOTUS victories, and we got one over the weekend. Now, look, if you're on team, we don't want to pay EBT to people who don't deserve EBT, then this was a big victory for you as well. So I think it was late in the week, one of the lower courts, probably out there on the West Coast in liberal la-la land, told Trump that they didn't give a damn what the Constitution was, that he was, in fact, a king, and that he must break the law and pay full EBT, full SNAP benefits to everybody. Now, we don't care. Well, we know that funds have to be congressionally given to you, congressionally approved, allocated is the word I'm looking for, congressionally allocated by Congress. But and I know, Daddy Trump, we just had a whole protest called No Kangs, and we said we don't want kings, but we need you to be a king, and damn the Constitution, damn Congress having control of the purse strings. We need you to break the rules. Just do it this one time, Daddy. Just do it this one time, Daddy. Break the rules and pay all the poorses their EBT. And Trump's like, no, I'm not a king, and I'm not doing that. And we had to rush it up to the SCOTUS over the weekend, and the SCOTUS came back, and they ruled in Trump's favor. I was a little disappointed in the ruling because they're still saying that you got to partially fund SNAP I don't even think we should be doing that at all. I think that you need to get up off your lazy AWS and you need to go get a job. And I think everybody that's upset and like, well, Clay, what about the people who are on disability? What about the people who really need it? They need to be having a real conversation with their representatives about who is getting SNAP and who is not that deserves it. I was out rucking yesterday, and I was listening to Anton Daniels. Was it yesterday? No, it was Saturday. Anton's one of my favorite content creators. He live streams all the time. Black dude up out of Detroit, conservative black dude. Y'all hear me talk about him a good bit on here. And Kim Wade turned me on to him last year, and man, I listen every day. Anton, Anton Daniels. Highly recommend him. Anyway, he did a call-in show, and I'm thinking I'm going to start doing that on the, one night a week. I start letting y'all crazy people call me. But they were having a conversation about rent being too high. And this lady called in, and she's on EBT or SNAP. I keep calling it EBT. She's on SNAP and stuff, and she was explaining her story. And man, I felt so bad for this lady. I kept saying, man, I hope Anton does something really cool and maybe pays her rent or something. And he did. He cash apped her $1,000 during the live stream. This lady, she's had liver and kidney transplants. She's like the longest living person to have had both. And she was just talking about how rent was too high. He's like, sweetie, we're not talking about you. You are the reason that these benefits exist. We should be making sure that you don't have any problems with rent. We should be making sure that you don't have any problems keeping food in your fridge, in your cabinet, in your pantry. And I was so moved, I sent some money. Now I can't send $1,000. I ain't got it like that yet. I'm working there. I'm trying. I sent $25. She had given out her Cash App on there for him to send the money, and I stopped in mid ruck and I sent over $25. It was the best I could do. But it really motivated me and it moved me. It got me to thinking even more about how pissed off I am thinking about these lazy, no good EBT queens and these cuck men that are too lazy to get up off their butts and go get real jobs. Well, I ain't qualified to do anything that pays more than $10 an hour, then get qualified. Get qualified. How about learn how to talk? How about learn how to look people in the eye and go sell stuff? Man, I told the story over here, was it Friday when I had Damien in here? I told the story about how I woke up broke in 2010 with nothing. Man, part of the story I didn't tell is I drugged the whole family down with me in this. And I'll never forget me and my dad, and he might not want me telling the story, but I'm going to do it anyway. We was so bad, man, before I was able to get a job that we had to go I didn't even try to get SNAP or EBT. I knew they weren't going to give that to my white ass. But we ended up at a church food pantry and got food. Now, I never opened that food. Real talk. I ended up coming across a few bucks and was able to avoid having to do it because it was just a bunch of canned food and just like whatever. But I held on to that food forever as like a memory of how bad it can get. It was just like some off-brand, generic canned food. But it was just the whole process of how humbling that was. And it was one of those aha moments in my life where I'm like, I never, ever, 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 ever want to be in this situation again. Ever. But I didn't, no matter how much money I'd paid in, I had too much pride to go apply for SNAP or EBT or any of that as a perfectly healthy American male. Like, to me, that would just been like, ain't doing it, Hoss. I ain't doing it. And I just found a way. Went and got a job. And when I started in the car business, man, they had Great Annuals at the time. They guarantee you for the first 90 days, you got $500 a week or your commission, whatever was higher. Man, being broke, getting that $500 a week, that was a game changer. But I say all that to say this, I learned a trade. I learned how to sell. I learned how to communicate. It wasn't about the cars. I mean, you learn the different cars, whatever. you learned how to be a dealsman. The point being, I learned a trade, and you can too. Get off your lazy ass, go get a job. Period. I have no sympathy, empathy, or anything for you people who choose not to, who can. And I hope that if nothing else comes from this whole EBT debacle, government shutdown, all this, is that we see how many people are on this crap. I mean, have y'all seen the videos of Walmarts and stuff lately? Like, people are going in and making videos. The shelves are overflowing with product and food and supplies and all this stuff. They're ghost towns. At least the ones that I've seen online. I haven't been to one because I don't go to Walmart. I get that crap delivered if I ever get anything from there or Amazon. But ghost towns. Clearly, this economy through the Biden administration, when they kept telling us that the economy was doing good, it was propped up by EBT and SNAP. Because you've got the ability to buy so much crap on that now. It's crazy. We're going to make America great again, whether y'all want to or not. But anyway, we got a big Supreme Court victory over the weekend, and I'm here for it. What do you guys think, man? Should we just cold turkey stop SNAP? I said that back last year, coming up to the election. I said, you got to just stop this cold turkey. And the first couple of weeks, the first month, there's going to be some hunger pains. There's going to be some growing pains. But people's hunger and realizing that Big Daddy government ain't coming to save them will drive them to go find a damn job. Just like it drove me to go find a job, learn a trade, and be able to provide for myself and my family. If Clay can do it, coming off a drug addiction, alcoholism, just every self-inflicted, idiotic thing one could do to themselves, I did it. And I was able to bounce back and make something out of myself. You can too. That's why I just don't care. You're never going to get me to feel sorry for these people. Not only do I not feel sorry for them, I hate them. I despise them. I'm like an immigrant that came here legally, that looks at these MFers sneaking into this country, and I want to kick them back across the border. Get on out of here. Learn English. You piece of crap. Y'all be sure to swing by McBee's today for lunch. Lake Harbor Drive, buzzing red since 1982. It's Chicken Spaghetti Monday on the blue plate. Of course, they have plenty of other options available too. You may run into me there. I have a hard time missing out on that chicken spaghetti. All right, Guns and Gear text line 769-241-1944. Don't forget McBee's. Book your Christmas events there, your company Christmas party, your Christmas party. They got that huge patio, covered, heated, cooled, all that out back. You can fit 150 or so people back there. Book a band. They can handle catering, all that stuff for you. Great place. We'll be right back here on WYAB. I want to get into your live chats and your text messages when we return. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. Let me get my screen adjusted here. Boom, shakalaka boom. There I am. Hey, we're live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios, where you can always text Clay to 601-800-5130. Get your complimentary testosterone screening lined up. My boy Damien got his lined up for today. He was in here Friday, heard me talking about it. Said, man, I can't wait. I got to get it done, baby. I got to get it done, ready to get back on track. You can too. Man, get excited. It's exciting thinking about getting that testosterone back right as a man. Man, it takes about 8 to 12 weeks to really, really, really start seeing the difference. But you'll start seeing it pretty quickly. But a real noticeable 8 to 12 weeks. So check that out. Hey, real quick, this segment brought to you by our friend Tri-County Tree Service. Hey, man, that first freeze came in. Definitely going to be cold the next couple of nights. So you're going to find out you got some dead trees. Man, you get some ice on a tree. Ooh-wee. Anyway, check them out, man. Let them knock a tree down for you. Turn it into some firewood. and get it out your way. Keep it from falling on your house, on your cars. I mean, a fallen tree can be life-threatening. You don't want that. That's something so preventable, so preventable. Don't let a tree fall down over your driveway. Keep you from being able to go to work, fall on your house, any of that stuff. Call Tri-County Tree Service today, 601-940-5499. That's Tri-County Tree Service. All right, man. Let's see here. I just got an update. Andrew Gosser has been in a car accident. He said he's okay. Okay. I mean, he'll take your prayers. He's all right, but he's been in a car accident and will not be making it in today. So we'll be free winging it all 3 hours here. I do have Damien coming in to show him how to twist some knobs. We may get his thoughts and opinions on something. We'll see how all that shakes out. But you got your boy Clay here till 10 o'clock this morning. I wanted to circle back real quick to the Trump administration's big victory there at the SCOTUS. So what that did, and I need to pull this article up here, what that did is because so many of these states were so anxious to give away money. All these blue states were so ready to give full SNAP benefits to all their voters that the second that other ruling came through, they used that as their excuse to make payroll, basically. They have promised these illegals and these lazies free stuff. And they know that there's going to be an uprising in these urban black communities where they've shoved all these illegals on top of these blacks. They know it is. It's going to be an absolute uprising. And we talked about this the other day. You know, you're going to end up having these food line fights at these churches and these community centers and these food pantries and stuff. And I'm telling you, all these systems were put in place so they could keep poor black people on the plantation, the Democrat plantation. And they've wedged all these illegals into there, and they're going to start infiltrating and taking their rations, their food rations, their supplies, these things that were put in place for the poor blacks to keep them voting Democrat for 100 years. Hey, they said it, not me. Anyway, so now the Trump administration demands those states undo the full SNAP payouts, but the states are warning of a catastrophic impact. Well, I'm here for it. I want to see asteroid MAGA smash right into these Democrat hellholes that have done this. Here's a story from Atlanta News First, and from the AP, really. President Trump's administration is demanding states undo full SNAP benefits paid out under the judicial orders in recent days, now that the U.S. Supreme Court has stayed those rulings, marking the latest swing in a seesawing legal battle over the anti-hunger program used by 42 million Americans. See what they did there? Clay, this is an anti-hunger program. These people are starving. Now, these people is lazy. We went from 19 million people to 42 million in 4 years. You mean 42 million Americans couldn't get off their butt, or at least, let's just say, an additional 20 million plus Americans suddenly came down with some life-altering disability to keep them from working? Hell no. Hell no. What they did is they pumped a bunch of illegals into here, and they're paying them to be here. The demand from the U.S. Department of Agriculture came as more than 24 states warned of catastrophic operational disruptions if the Trump administration does not reimburse them for those SNAP benefits they authorized before the Supreme Court stay. Nonprofits and Democratic attorney generals sued to force the Trump administration to maintain the program in November despite the ongoing government shutdown. They won a favorable ruling last week, leading to the swift release of benefits to millions in several states. The Trump administration indicated to states that it would facilitate the full payments in accordance with the ruling, while it also was appealing them. On Friday night, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson temporarily paused rulings ordering full SNAP reimbursements while an appeals court considers the administration's request to halt the payments. That led the Department of Agriculture on Saturday to write state SNAP directors to warn them it now considers full payments under the prior orders unauthorized. So they knew this was going to happen. Well, they knew there was a really good chance of this happening, but they said, full send, full send. Pay the Porses, pay the Porses. Because they know, I'm telling y'all, these blue states know that there's a monster they have created in these urban centers while they have piled all these poor people and these illegals on top of each other. And it is going to be absolute chaos. And we need it. I'm telling you, we need it so America can heal. It's like an addict, man. You got to hit rock bottom to know you're there. They got to hit rock bottom. We got to see a battle royale unfold in these communities. You just got to. You got to. They'll never learn if you don't show them what happens when you become too dependent upon the government. And that's what's happened here. You know, we've already tried socialism and communism and all that. That's what all SNAP and all this is. This is UBI, Universal Basic Income. There's plenty of people, man, they get on it and they're like, jackpot, baby. I ain't got to work no more. And they get out there and they do these little side hustles and they get their SNAP and all this, that, and the other. I saw a video of some girl the other day. I was watching on Salty Cracker, I think, or maybe it was Jeremy from the Quarterings page. Or maybe it was Anton. It was Anton Daniels. It was Anton. You know, they all do these reaction videos. I ought to start doing those. I think I'd be good at it. But it was some like 20-year-old white, I think, trans girl, man, I don't know, whatever it was, that still lived with its parents, crying about, and it went and got some kind of food service degree. And it wanted to be a pastry chef, and it couldn't find a job being a pastry chef that paid more than $10 an hour. And it was crying that it couldn't get SNAP benefits. Like, you live with your parents. Go get a damn job and shut up. You don't need to be on SNAP. But we've created an entire entitled generation that wants their universal basic income that they ain't paid nothing into to get. Nothing. We're done, man. We got to be an uprising. There's got to be a full-blown uprising and a revolt. We'll be right back. This is the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 FM WYAB. Show. We got about a minute here before the top of the hour break. Online audience, stay with me. I'm going to stay live with y'all throughout the top of the hour break and read some of your comments and chit-chat with you guys. Radio audience, don't go nowhere. Rip the old knob off. Enjoy those ads, man. They keep this thing floating on down the track. When we come back, there was a big case in Jackson. We're going to pull it here local. There was a big case in Jackson last year that we fought really, really hard for on this show because we believed that an innocent man had been arrested and charged with murder, and we were proven right. 4 arrests have now been made in the connection with that JSU homicide last year, and one of them was the other guy that had gotten arrested at the time. We've got all kind of interesting stuff there and some interesting comments from one of the mothers of one of the arrested. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on The Clay Edwards Show here on WYAB. All right, guys, I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back, and we're going to dive into y'all's comments right here. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. As far as like real-world application than the associate's degree was. But I met a bunch of hot chicks and had a good time. I learned how to party that time around. And that actually, I always joke around, but it's kind of true. That second stint at Hines, that's what made me realize I wanted to get into the nightclub business. And I did. I parlayed that experience into getting into the nightclub business and being a club promoter and all that stuff. So it wasn't for naught. I just didn't actually use the sales and marketing degree for its intended purpose, but I ended up getting into sales and marketing kind of unironically. All right, I planned on reading more of your comments there, but it's time to come back from the break, so I'm going to shut up and let the intro play. La Dynamite. It's hour number 2 of the most incendiary show on the, spell it with me, the RADIO. This is the Clay Edwards Show on the 50,000 watt flame thrower. We call it WYAB. Mike Madison calls it the little free speech outpost here in Florida, Mississippi. We ain't so little anymore, Mike. We ain't so little anymore. Live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios here, home of the free testosterone screenings. Text Clay 601-800-5130. Get in touch with them. Hey, look, man, they do so much more than free testosterone screenings. They actually have the testosterone. Guys, you need any Viagra? They got you. They will write you that Viagra. Don't ask me how I know. Also, you need to lose some weight, guys, girls. Why are you paying those ridiculous prices for Ozempic? Why are you ordering semaglutide off the internet? Don't do that. You don't know what you're getting. That stuff's coming from China. Get it right here, compounded in Mississippi, in Central Mississippi, and given to you directly from Men's Health and Women's Wellness in Mississippi. That's right. They got the compounded semaglutide too. When you text Clay to 601-800-5130, I'm going to give you 2 options. Are you wanting testosterone or are you wanting weight loss? You can text back both or one or the other, and they'll get you going down the right track. Your boy does both. I ain't scared to admit it. I also do some other things. Anyway, check them out, Men's Health, Women's Wellness. This segment brought to you by Lakeland Glass and Tint. They got you covered for all of your home, car, and business window tinting needs, vehicle wrap needs, and, of course, they can take care of all your windshield and automotive glass repair and replacement needs. You do not have to have an appointment for windshield rock repair. Just stop by one of their 2 locations there that work on windshields, Lakeland Drive in Flowood, right there by Red Arrow Car Wash, and the newest location right there in downtown Brandon on the corner of Highway 471 and Highway 80 or West Government Street, depending on whatever you want to call it. It's always Highway 80 to me. And as long as it's not raining outside, they can take care of your rock peck repair there at Lakeland Glass. Check them out. You know, did you know that if you're a business owner, homeowner, whatever, you got a man cave, a kid's playroom, whatever you want to do, they can come in and wrap the walls in there with whatever design your heart desires, just like they can turn your vehicle into a rolling billboard. They can turn your wall into a billboard or something cool in your kid's playroom or your man cave or whatever. Options are only as limited as your imagination. Free quotes today, LakelandGlassandTint.com. All right, let's jump into it. I told you there's a big story that broke over the weekend, and great job, Capitol Police, Mississippi Department of Investigation, just everybody involved in this. Sean Tindell, man, his leadership has just been phenomenal with the Mississippi Department of Public Safety and what they were able to do here by not giving up and continuing to pursue the bad guys. And they have made 4 arrests in the 2023 homicide that happened down there at JSU. And, man, what a clown show it was with JSU security. And I know that JSU's police falls under the Department of Public Safety, but hopefully, anyway, I don't want to sit here and roll cops under the bus, but they did a terrible, terrible job. And fortunately, the adults stepped up, got some stuff done. I mean, that the fact that they arrested an innocent man when there was video of him not being there, it's just mind-boggling to me. I got to take y'all's chat off the screen here for a second. Let's pull this up. We're going to let WLBT, I butchered that. We're going to let WLBT tell the story here of what happened, and then I'll give you my thoughts and opinions, and I probably won't wait for the video to end to give you my thoughts and opinions. Well, let me swap that out there, make the screen a little bit bigger here, and we're going to get to it. This video is about 1 minute and 17 seconds long. This is from WLBT.
Thanks for joining us. We begin with breaking news during this half hour. MBI has announced 4 people have been arrested in connection with the 2023 shooting death of Jackson State University student Jalen Burns. Marquise Scales and Zakiya Amos have both been charged with murder in the case. Jamison Kelly Jr., who was initially arrested and then released, has been charged with accessory after the fact. Elisha Brown has also been charged with accessory after the fact and hindering prosecution. Public Safety Commissioner Sean Tyndale says the case is a testament to the persistence and professionalism of our state's law enforcement community. Burns was shot at the University Point apartment complex back in October of 2023. Days after, police arrested 19-year-old Joshua Brown and 21-year-old Jamison Kelly Jr. for murder and accessory. They were later released after footage showed Brown was hours away when the shooting happened. A judge said there was not enough probable evidence to charge Kelly. Brown's mother filed a lawsuit last year, initially alleging that her then minor son had suffered mental anguish, anxiety, and permanent loss to his reputation as a result of his arrest and imprisonment. The judge has scheduled a trial in Joshua Brown's civil case for October 6th.
It is still wild to me that in this day and age that can even happen. It's just disgusting, in my opinion. Let me get back here. So let's scroll down just a little bit. Let's get their faces up on the screen here. So these are the 4 future rocket scientists, engineers, and astronauts that killed this guy. And it all started at an on-campus party. Somebody claimed the sister had been disrespected or something. I don't remember the whole story here, but I wish it had the names under here. Okay, yeah, here it is. So from far left, you have Elisha Brown, 23. There's the girl. I assume that's a girl. You have Jamison Kelly, 23 here. Now, this guy was initially arrested last year or 2 years ago when all this broke. You have Marquise Scales right here, 24, and Zaquia Amos, 21, here on the end. That is the oldest 21-year-old I have ever seen in my life. I mean, look how old that guy looks. Let's see if I can make this screen a little bit bigger here. All right. Put me on the bottom down there. This guy here on the far right, pun intended, looks 40 years old. But where did my story go? So his mom has gotten off in the comments under the under the Department of Public Safety's post. And I'm guessing it's his mom. They got the same last name. So I got it saved on my phone here. I want to read this to y'all. We can do this again. All right, more of me. So here is Amos's, have I got the name right there? Amos? Zaquia Amos. This is his mom commenting under the Department of Public Safety's post. She goes, people make my MFing a-hole itch. That's hemorrhoids, lady. That's not people. Hemorrhoids make your butthole itch, but that's real. That's a lot of personal information right there. Anyway, she goes, none of you sad, sorry people know who did what, and neither do they. They just trying to cover their butts from last year's mess they created. I'm sorry that a life was lost. That I am. But unless you was a fly on the wall, got video footage, named Jesus himself, you have no right to condemn somebody because of your opinion. No, actually we do. It's called America. It's our freedom of speech. Anyway, she goes, I've saw comments. You read these things and it's just the broken English. I've saw comments talking about some damn good job. And she says a lot of cuss words, but she bleeps all the cuss words out with little asterisks. I'm like, it's okay to say damn. Anyway, she goes, I saw comments talking about some damn good job. I'm trying to hold my composure from my son, but I'll be damned if I sit and let anyone speak ill of him. We, his support system, and with every beat of my heart and every ounce of blood in my veins, we will bring my son home. And when we do, best believe he's still going to be good. I don't care. And they spell I-O-N, I-O-N. It's ghetto for I don't. I don't care who said what, who did what, but I know one thing, mine's, I'm a fight to see him back where he belongs. That's on my life. Anybody that know him. And this is by far the worst thing to ever have on him. But as his mom will speak life into him, what does it say? But as his mom will speak life into him and keep his spirits up. And anybody that ain't with us, please find something safe to do and find someone else to discredit, slaughter, and badmouth. The butchering of the English language there is what she should be arrested for that, for murder of the English language. My goodness, that was hard to read. But that's the kind of stuff, and look, all BS aside, as a parent, it's got to be hard to read all that. You know, I know somebody who went through some stuff like that a couple years ago. Her sons were, somewhere where somebody got killed, and, everybody was in the comments popping off at the mouth and saying all these things. Where were the parents and all this stuff? So, look, I get that it's got to be tough, but there's a big difference in the situation I'm talking about and, murder. Like, the police didn't just, it's hard to say they didn't just randomly pick somebody when actually 2 years ago, that's exactly what they did. They just randomly picked a guy and arrested him. But you would like to think after a multi-year long investigation into all this that we don't need that anymore. I'm sorry, somebody walked in and it kind of distracted me there. What I was trying to say was after a multi-year long investigation, that's not going to happen. That's not going to be the case with this situation. That they've done their homework and knowing how bad it would look to sit there and arrest the wrong people and implicate the wrong people and ruin people's lives, you have to assume that that's not going to be the case this time around. So I'm gonna trust the Department of Public Safety on this, and especially now that it's out of JSU Campus Police's hands. JSU Campus Police, even though they're under the Department of Public Safety, they should never, and nor should Ole Miss or Mississippi State or Southern Miss or anybody else's campus police be investigating murders. I don't care if they happened on campus. You guys don't do that enough to be doing that. You should always be deferring the conflict of interest, if nothing else. Defer to MBI, in my opinion, or to the police department in the town that college is in, Starkville, Oxford, Hattiesburg, whatever. That's just my opinion on that. But maybe the guys are more than qualified, but clearly, based on that last arrest, not qualified to be doing that. Absolute terrible. Didn't they fire the police chief, the JSU police chief after that? Him step down or something? I remember something happening there. All right, we got to take a break. It's already at the 20. This segment was brought to you by our friends over at, who was this one brought to you by? Man, we rocking and rolling today, man. Hard to keep up with everything. Hard to keep up with it. It just never fails. Man, I keep my stuff pulled up here trying to be all professional, and then I lose it. This segment was brought to you by Jamie Creel, Shelter Insurance Extraordinaire. 2 offices to serve you right there in Flora at the Cotton Exchange Plaza. And, of course, in Ridgeland on Highway 51 North, right there next to Fleet Feet in Ridgeland. That's Shelter Insurance. Let him get you a quote today. Let's see if he can save you some money or get you some better insurance coverage. A lot of stuff out there right now about insurance not being worth it, health insurance not being worth it. That goes back to having a good insurance agent who can explain it all to you and not just trying to sell you a policy for the sake of selling you a policy, like really sitting down and explaining to you how copay works and all that stuff. But yeah, they can help you with your health insurance and all that with the marketplace. But what they're really great is helping you with your property insurance, your life insurance, all of that good stuff. So check them out. Jamie Creel, Shelter Insurance Agent Extraordinaire. We'll be right back here on The Clay Edwards Show. All right. Welcome. Pull that channel down. Welcome back in to The Clay Edwards Show here live on 103.9 FM WYAB. It's the other remote, channel 2. The one that says number 2 on it. All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show here, live on 103.9 FM, WYAB, streaming worldwide at WYAB.com. Sorry for the little confusion there. Training a producer to help me out so I can move over here to the other side of the desk eventually. And I got my buddy Damien in here. You heard him on the show Friday. Damien's going to help me out a little bit when it comes to producing the show. And that way I can be free to do more stuff without having to hit buttons and do all of that stuff. Damien, will you hand me my drink?
I will. There you go, bud.
All right, there. Got my energy drink, and I can do this now. So let me pull my notes up here. I didn't plan on not having a computer in front of me because I do so much on the computer. But, hey, you got to throw people right into the fire sometimes.
That's exactly what I'm asking.
Let's see here. So Big Daddy Trump came out over the weekend and announced that Americans were going to be getting $2,000 tariff. They're kind of a spiff, so to say, a tariff dividend is, I believe, what the technical name for it is. And I got it right here. So it says, this is from Big Daddy Trump. It says, people that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation and a record stock market price. 401ks are the highest ever. We are talking in trillions of dollars. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt. 37 trillion. Record investment in the USA. Plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid out to everyone. Damien, how do you feel about getting a $2,000 dividend from Big Daddy Trump?
Man, I'll be honest with you, man, and we got to fix these cameras. Neither one of us are on them.
We'll worry about the cameras later. Let's just talk.
All right.
Radio show first.
I'll tell you what's crazy about it, man, is that, everyone said that couldn't happen. But for me, whenever I think about high-income people, the fact that he would exclude them, it kind of takes out the idea that he's only trying to help billionaires, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that kind of shoots that down. And then for people like me and people like you, Clay, that's going to come in handy for me. I can't speak for you. I can speak for me. That's going to come in major handy for me.
Man, look, that pays it doesn't pay my rent and car note completely, but it 65-70% of my rent and car note. I mean that $2,000.
Yeah.
Now what I saw though, and I had the video, but I didn't plan on doing this today. But I had a video of the guy from the Treasury saying, "Now look, this may not be a cash payment drop directly off into your bank. This could end up being say it could end up being a tax write-off, something like that.
Right.
A car payment paid, a mortgage paid, something like it could be several different things more so than just $2,000.
Right, like a check, right?
Right.
Like the stimulus check was, quote unquote.
Right. Now, I would prefer, and I think most people, let's just make this plain and simple and just give me $2,000.
Yeah,
right?
Me too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially 1099 employees that do little dope boy magic with our taxes and stuff,
Bro,
write everything off anyway.
I got to say for me though, man, the tax write-off, listen, I just opened my business this year, right? Bro, my taxes are going to absolutely destroy me, man. I have no idea. I have not kept up with anything like I should have. So, I mean, for me, I think the tax write-off might be helpful, But
So Besant from the Scott Besant, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
He's with the Treasury. He says it could just be a tax decrease. It could be no tax on tips. Everybody's $2,000 could come from not come from a different place, but come from a different place. So you don't necessarily be anticipating just a straight $2,000 dropped off in your checking account.
Right.
It could be on your tax returns, stuff like that. But see, I pay in every year.
Yeah, I have.
I don't get a I don't get a check.
Right.
I was shocked that I got a STEMI check, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know some people are so hard-headed, like, I've never cashed my stimulus. Well, you're an idiot.
Well, you know what? You give me $2,000, $3,500, I'm cashing it, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm going to go.
I mean, you had to pay it back. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to have to pay it back whether you cashed it or not, I believe.
Yeah.
If my memory serves me correct. I mean, you might as well spend it.
You might as well spend it, man.
I mean,
Well, you are paying it back regardless. I mean, you think that money just goes unanswered for? It doesn't, man. Just because they printed it in a certain amount of time and just threw them all out there, man, that hits everybody. So if you pay, they gave you $1,500. Well, Walmart sold more TVs than they've ever sold before, and now we're all reaping, what came from that. I believe, man.
Yeah, I was able to buy a 70-inch TV from a guy yesterday for $200.
Man, I'm going to get a 75-inch for my house. I was actually going to do it this weekend, and I didn't go do it because I ended up having to be at the house working. But for the wall, and Walmart, they're only like $3.99, man.
Yeah, well, I'm putting one out in the garage, and I just man, I really didn't expect to get to land on a 70-inch. I thought if I could get like a 50,
right?
Maybe I can get somebody's got one for $100, something like that. So I made a Facebook post yesterday. I was like, hey, if anybody's got a TV, and of course everybody got in the comments, they're so cheap now at Walmart. Well, that's not what I asked for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm well aware that Walmart and Amazon have cheap TVs. But you're still talking about $200, $300, $400, depending on which size you get, right? Yes, and that is a lot cheap. I got a 75-inch hanging on my wall that I paid $1,000 for off Amazon right before prices really came down.
Yeah, right before they dropped.
It was like 21-ish, 2021. And, and I paid $1,000. Now you can get that same TV for $500.
Right.
It may not be the same technology.
Yeah, but still.
Whatever. LED, LCD, 4K.
OLED.
Man, I finally had to get on X the other day and have it explain to me the quality, the trim levels, and the differences.
Yeah.
Like I was looking on Amazon back last Amazon Prime Day or whatever, or maybe it was Black Friday last year, whatever. I was going to buy another TV. I ended up not buying one, but I was going to buy an extra one for the bedroom, for my office or whatever, and somehow I ended up inheriting a TV somewhere or another. But neither here nor there, and I had to what is the difference in these? And I was like, once you get up in the higher trim level TVs, you're really just man. You live in good life if you can tell the difference.
Yeah, the real
your eyes are better than mine if you can tell the difference in HD and 4K.
I can't see the 75-inch TV anyway, bro. You know what I'm saying? I still can't read the letters on it. So
we just got some breaking news here from WLBT talking about this $2,000 deal here. It says Trump floats $2,000 tariff rebate checks for most Americans in social media posts. And, it's just wild, man, seeing the people coming out and hating on it. So I look, all you people who said that you hate Donald Trump and that the tariffs were a bad idea, look, if they end up sending this thing out as a check, I just want you to give me yours.
Yeah, just send it over here. I'll take it.
Go. Since y'all are so dead set on helping these people with their EBT and SNAP, take yours and go to Walmart, and the first Quita and Ashley that get there, buy all their groceries. Since you don't want it, you thought it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
You go and donate it to a food pantry.
Yeah, tariffs are stupid.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right, guys, we're going to take a break here. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We will be right back on 103.9 FM WYAB.
Bang, bang. On. This comes down. That goes to there. Welcome
back in to the Clay Edwards Show, live here on 103.9 FM WYAB. This segment brought to you by our friends over at... How about my friends at the Manship Restaurant right there in downtown Jackson? They should be a Michelin star restaurant, but for whatever reason, I believe political, not politics, but, the politicalness of who jockeys for position and those things, but for whatever reason. Michelin stars or no Michelin stars, the Manship is one of the top 150 bourbon whiskey bars in America. Not just top 150, they're the top 50% of those. I think they were like number 72 or number 73 top whiskey bars in America, located right there in the Bellhaven, across the street from the Baptist Hospital. Swing by, check them out today. They have a $15 blue plate, one of the finest restaurants in town, the finest ingredients, best chefs. You can rarely go in there and get anything for $15, except their pizzas at happy hour. But they do a blue plate every day, Monday through Friday, where it is $15. And I believe that includes your drink, but don't hold me to that. But look, let's just be honest. If you're eating at the Manship, you're not crying about a $2 or $3 drink, are you? No, you're not. So don't worry about that. Make sure you tip your bartenders and your servers. As always, we highly, highly encourage our listeners to. That's how you help feed single moms, single dads, hardworking folks. You tip when they bring the food and they take good care of you. Even when they don't, you still tip, because sometimes people just have a bad day. And if you go out to eat, you need to go on and bill in tipping, unless they're just absolutely disgraceful to you. That's a whole other story, but you ain't getting that at none of these places. These are good God-fearing folks. They ain't going to do that to you. But look, happy hour there at the Manship. You know, the places like 042 Wine and Spirits, places like the Manship, they team up with these bourbon companies, these whiskey companies, spirit companies, and they do private barrel releases. Well, the Manship has private barrels that they selected that were brewed or whatever just for them. And during happy hour, you can get shots of those whiskeys and bourbons for just $5. That's right. I mean, we're talking about high-end stuff like Four Roses and all these other different brands. And you can also get their wood-fire pizzas for half price. Swing by, see them today, and don't forget, book your holiday parties now at the Manship. From 1 to 100 people, they can handle it right there at the Manship. Probably more than 100. I forgot what the actual number was, but they got some big meeting rooms, private rooms back there where you can swing by and check them out. All right, we're live here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi Studios. Sitting across from me, I've got my buddy Damien. We're training him to, if things seem a little awkward, a little weird, and a little clunky right now, all my show prep is on the computer. So I'm looking at it on my phone a little bit here, but I had a lot of videos and audio and stuff I wanted to play, but I'm trying to get Damien trained to run the board and be a producer for me so we can really take this show to the next level. But there's going to be little speed bumps along the way when you do that. I've got a surprise guest on the way here for the 9 o'clock hour. Andrew Gosser was in a car accident this morning. He's okay, but it's got him down a vehicle. He's not going to be able to make it today. So Fred Shanks out of the bullpen, state rep from Brandon, is en route right now. So Fred Shanks is going to be sitting in with me. Me and Fred, you know, one of my best friends on top of being my state rep out there. And hey, look, I don't take it easy on Fred either. He knows, man, there's some things that Clay is going to be hardcore about. And we have a good friendship and a good relationship and a game recognized game. And look, he don't use the gloves when he punches me in the mouth either.
That's right.
You know, and that's what good relationships are built on. So we're going to talk to Fred, see what's going on, see what he's got brewing for this upcoming session in January. It'll be here before you know it down there at the Capitol. What's on the agenda? Mobile sports betting. Is that going to be on the agenda? I think so. I do. I think mobile sports betting is going to get passed this time around. So we'll talk about that with Fred and more. Let's read some of your text messages here on the Guns and Gear text line. I know I've been asking for y'all's thoughts and opinions, and I hadn't gotten to them yet. So let's do that now, shall we? Unknown texture says, you and Damien compliment each other well. Good call. Well, good. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
And I appreciate that too, man.
I appreciate that. So I got a lot of clips from me and Damien from Friday, our show about felons and firearms and gun rights. So those are starting to drip out on the social media yesterday and today and throughout the week. You'll start seeing some of those. And I hadn't had a chance to read any of the comments yet because, well, we're just there. Those videos about the felons and firearms have just started dropping this morning. So I'd be interested to see what people's thoughts are on that. It seemed like the overwhelming majority of people in the comments and the Guns and Gear text line over Friday seemed to be in favor of felons having a path back to gun ownership. So I just one of the things I said was, and I feel more passionate about it today after having all weekend to think about it, is, you know, as Christians, we're all about forgiveness. And
That's
America is one nation under God.
That's right.
You know, so are we not supposed to forgive people that mess up? So let's just, and we said this Friday, and let's say it again. A fella, for example, 10 years ago, like God knows I'm not the same Clay I was 10 years ago.
Man, no way.
12, 13 years ago, I was, woke up broke on my parents' couch. Well, 15 years ago. God, I can't believe it's been that long now, 2010. But woke up on my parents' couch, broke, just getting over a drug addiction, just all the bad stuff, man. And like I said, I just didn't get caught. It's the only reason I'm not a felon. And I have my gun rights, but let's just say, you go through you get in trouble, you go through the system, you pay your debt to society, you get out, you start a family, because you're a felon and because you've made mistakes, you're already kind of behind the 8 ball on job opportunities and stuff like that. So you're stuck living in a lower income area, and lower income areas, just typically are high crime areas. Do you not deserve the right? Does your family not deserve to be safe because daddy's a felon? And you don't get to have a gun in the house?
That's really what it comes down to, man, is that you literally cannot protect yourself.
And then,
that's crazy.
And then people that live around you that know you're a felon know that you're a soft target.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And then if you try to protect yourself, you're a felon with a firearm. And look, man, y'all know me. I'm all about, as the hoodie says here, F around, find out. If you committed the crime, you do the time, you understand the consequences and repercussions. I do understand that. I truly do. But at what point do you get a chance to defend yourself and protect your family?
That's right.
Man, I got a problem with it. I really do, because Clay, just let the wife have a gun. Okay, well, what if it's a single dad? And then you're also technically in the house with a firearm.
Right. You can't. Your wife can't even have it, man. You cannot be around a firearm, man, at all. So.
And because, look, here's the deal. Felons that want a firearm are going to have a firearm.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So they're going to have one anyway. I just don't think that as long as they're not breaking the law with it, maybe having an amendment on the law that if they commit a crime and they are a felon with a firearm, there's an extra 10 years or something like that.
Right.
That we dangle in front of it. Say, hey, you get your gun rights back, but if you commit a crime at all, outside of like speeding tickets or something, you're guaranteed 10 years or 10 extra. I don't know. There's got to be something.
And, it's amazing that you landed on 10 years with that, because I don't know about now. I can't speak for now because I'm rusty on it, okay, but I used to know it very well. But it used to be, if you were pulled over, if you got caught with a firearm, you got an automatic 10 years mandatory, brother. We're talking about no possibility of parole. Now, I don't know what it is now. I've heard they softened that, but I'm not sure. I can't speak to that, but it used to be 10 hard. 10 the hard way, man.
That's tough. Unknown Texture says, while you may be an excellent example, there have to be consequences for committing a felony. Why not forgive without jail time too? Let's see. That's taking it to the extreme.
Crazy, man.
And I know you're being condescending there, and that's fine. I get it. But if you do the jail time, you pay back your debt to society. You come out and you finish your probation, and you do all that. You check off all the boxes. There should be a path back to
being a real citizen.
Being a real citizen. You know, I mean, we already don't let you vote. And a lot of this white collar crime stuff too, that are felonies. Man, if somebody wrote a bad check and can't own a gun again, that don't make no sense to me. But look, we did a whole show about that Friday. Y'all can go back and listen to it in the archives, whether it's on video or in the podcast. Just search Clay Edwards Show on Apple, Spotify, Podbean, all those great places. And of course, there'll be a lot of short form reels dropping soon. Somebody said, should they vote also? Oh, I 100% believe felons should get their voting rights back. I told y'all, I'm probably way more liberal on this than most conservatives are. I really am. Maybe it's because I grew up in Jackson and I have so many friends that went to prison and so many friends that have gotten out and are doing great things in the community and doing their part. And I believe they're as involved as anybody. And I believe they should get their voting rights back. Not violent felons. Not violent felons, but yeah, I believe that there should be a path back to vote. Now, some felons do get their voting rights back, but there's a list of laws. I forgot what they call it exactly. There's a term, disenfranchised.
Yeah, disenfranchised.
Disenfranchised, yeah. Where you stay permanently disenfranchised, and the Mississippi Supreme Court ruled on it again here recently. And it is what it is. I'm beating a dead horse here, but I just think there's some of these disenfranchisement crimes are a bit ridiculous. And they said they're racist. I don't think they're racist. I think they say, oh, well, these are crimes that they pick these to keep black people from voting. And I was like, I don't know, that's a lot of white collar crime, and not just white collar, white neck, white people crimes that I saw, like I said, a lot of financial type crimes.
Financial crimes, yeah.
That keep people from ever being able to vote or own a gun again.
Clay, did I miss this? Sorry to interrupt you guys, but it says 8:40 and it says bump music.
Don't worry about it.
Did I miss it?
No. As long as you ain't touched nothing, we're good.
All right. Sorry about that.
Scott says, not taking calls today. Scott, I'll take calls when I get back over there on the other side of the board here at 9 o'clock. I'm showing Damien how to run the board real quick. Scott says a compromise. Felons can have shotgun for home defense, but no handguns. They are too easy to conceal for committing crimes. I like that compromise.
That's good.
I like that. I mean, I just think you should be able to have some home protection for your family. I'm not even thinking about the felon as much as I am the family.
That's right.
I mean, the kid don't ask for that. And that's what y'all keep telling me about these kids on these welfare recipients, that they don't ask for it.
That's right.
They didn't ask to starve. And I guess I'm probably the one that's being the hypocrite in this scenario. Well, Clay, you don't think the kids should starve. It's not their fault. Okay, whatever. But I think there's a big difference in a lazy parent not wanting to work versus a parent that needs to be able to defend their family. I think those are two distinctly different scenarios there.
Yeah.
James says on the Guns and Gear text line, it only hurts the ones trying to follow the law. The ones that don't care will have a gun.
That's right.
Yep. Thank you, James.
That's it.
You drove the point home for me right there. All right, let's go to our break here. We'll come back for a short segment, then top of the hour, or as soon as Fred gets here, we'll have Fred Shanks here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. Damien, take me home.
Bang.
All right, welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB, the 50,000-watt flamethrower in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. We will open up the phone line, the Mazda Jackson phone line here in hour 3. That's right. It's a whole another hour to go this morning. My buddy and state rep Fred Shanks is going to be here in the studio with Damien Donald and myself here this morning. We're training Damien to run the soundboard and be a producer here for the show. And while it sounds a little clunky this morning, it will get great because it's going to free me up to do so much more on this side of the desk. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. Plus, it's just nice to have somebody to occasionally bounce some stuff off of. So excited about that. Hey, look, lunch today, burgers, blues, barbecue, all 3 great locations ready to serve you. Did you know that Madison has breakfast? That's right, breakfast right there at Burgers, Blues, Barbecue in Madison. But they also have their great location right there in Flowood at Dogwood and, of course, downtown Brandon, Mississippi. Look, you know they got great burgers. You know they got great barbecue. But I'm telling y'all, I know I've been beating it up a little bit here lately. The B3 bowl. You pick a meat, you pick a brown or white rice, and you pick your vegetables. I get the sauteed pepper, onion, broccoli, stir-fry medley. I get the chicken in the Nashville hot sauce. Pick whatever sauce you want if you want a sauce. I like hot stuff. And, of course, go with the white rice, brown rice, or whatever. You also can pick between sweet potatoes and brown potatoes. Mix it all up. And, look, if you're on a low-carb diet, not going to be the meal for you. But if you still want healthy eating, some good healthy carbs for energy, these B3 bowls, highly recommend them. They're under $15, and you can get 2 meals out of this thing. You can't beat that. All right, man, coming up. Hour 3, Fred Shanks here in the studio with me, and I got a whole lot of stuff I want to get to. Is Ben Shapiro bad for the Republican Party? Bad for MAGA? I think so. Boom goes La Dynamite. It's hour 3 of the Clay Edwards Show here live on the 50,000-watt flamethrower, WYAB, streaming worldwide at Save JXN on Facebook, YouTube, and X, as well as at Clay Edwards Show on the Rumble, the free speech platform. Of course, they've all been pretty good here lately. If I gotta drink a little truth serum, we say a lot of pretty wide open things on this show, and knock on wood, we haven't had any troubles out of YouTube or Facebook lately. But look, you can never count those chickens before they've hatched over there, because they can always come back, change their minds, and retro ban you for something that happened 3 years ago. Happened to me over the summer. Lost my $4,000 a month income from Facebook for sharing a post from Guns and Gear 3 years ago. So you never know. You never know what they'll do. They self-censor you. It's the Chinese credit score system. They self-censor. They get you to self-censor by threatening to demonetize you and all that stuff. So like now, as much crap as I talk, you know what I don't do? I don't share pictures of guns and ammo anymore. I was like, man, I hate it, but it's a big portion of my income. I mean, $4,000 or so a month from Meta. I don't want to lose that again. The summer was lean, having to when you lose a big portion of your income like that. So, and lost TikTok at the same time. So anyway, got all that back in the catbird seat. Is that what they call it, the catbird seat?
That's it, man.
What is the catbird?
You know, I hadn't really thought about it that way. Somebody sitting high up looking at things, I guess.
I guess so. Does a cat sit up high and look at things?
Okay, mine does. Yeah.
Mine, the one I had did too. Yeah. Real quick, this segment brought to you by our good friends right over there. Well, you know what? We just talked about Guns and Gear. Why don't we do a Guns and Gear live read here? They're closed on Mondays, but you better be waiting when the door opens tomorrow morning, Tuesday clock. Tomorrow morning on Tuesday, right there, Highway 51 North, Gluckstadt, Mississippi. Stop by, see them for all your guns, ammo, and supply needs. But look, man, you know they're also the leading gunsmither and Cerakote around here. You may not know this, but most of the gun shops around here don't actually do that in-house. They send it to Guns and Gear. That's right. They send their work to Guns and Gear. And, of course, you know they ain't doing that for free. They're marking that up, and they're passing those savings along to you, my friends. Is there a blue pen over there? Yep. They're passing those savings along to you. Skip the middleman. Take it straight to Hunter yourself right there at Guns and Gear. Let him do it for you, save you a few bucks, and you know it's going to be done right. He is the industry leader in that particular segment right there. And look, they buy guns too, so don't go to a pawn shop. Go to Guns and Gear. I sold one to them. Well, I traded one in. When I got my little 380, I traded in my 9. I just didn't have a need for the 9 anymore. I got a 40. I didn't need a 9 too. What I should have done was convert everything over to 9mm because I have a lot of 9mm ammo because of my CZ Scorpion. But I digress. Stop by. Check them out Tuesday through Saturday, Guns and Gear. And me and Fred were on our way over there one day. We were going to buy some knives. They got really cool knives. And we realized, that's the day we realized they were closed on Mondays.
That's right. Yeah.
But most gun stores are. Two Guns closed also on Mondays. Because that's always the day that I get the earning to want to go shoot indoors.
Yeah.
Like, dang it, everybody's closed on Mondays.
Yeah. What's the man got to do to get a switchblade around here?
Exactly. Well, that shop, the cigar shop.
Oh, yeah. We walked in. This is the one that's right on 55.
By the road?
Yeah, above the road.
Yeah.
And we walked in. Really cool place. They got a full bar on the first floor, and they had a cabinet. And, we were looking, and they had multiple just awesome, out the front switchblades. Never would have thought they would have been there.
It's kind of crazy how nowadays you can go into convenience stores, and there's gigantic blades and all that crazy stuff at the convenience store.
Yeah.
It is a little wild. These foreigner-owned convenience stores aren't missing any opportunity to sell anything,
especially by the checkout counter.
It is capitalism at its finest.
That's right.
I like it.
Yeah.
So many different people have their different opinions on it and this, that, and the other. But I like the foreigner-owned gas stations. Especially in Rankin County.
Yeah.
Because they just got a lot of stuff that, I take Kratom. One, they sell Kratom. Mm-hmm. And two, they just got a lot of cool stuff that I didn't know I needed till I saw it there.
Yeah. I usually, my corner gas station's the Cefco, and that's the one I normally go to. But every once in a while I'll branch off.
I like the Cefco.
And, go to another one. And
Kenneth that works there in the mornings?
Yeah.
Kind of heavier set white guy? Yeah. Uh-huh. I've known that dude forever. Okay. Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He's a gas station purist.
Okay.
Like he's been like, if you follow him we've been friends on Facebook for years. Mm-hmm. We didn't start out as friends, but we've worked our way to being buddies. But he's a good guy. I like his mama too. She's good people. But he's very big into like petro stuff and the history of gas stations in Jackson. Yeah. He can tell you all about it.
Well, now your dad had one, right?
We didn't do gas.
Okay.
We did have a before I was born, they had a service station.
Okay.
An OG, old school, full service, single pump. Mm-hmm. And it had a mechanic shop over there on like West Street or Capitol Street.
Okay.
I found the ad on in newspapers.com a while back, and I sent it to my dad. But his dad owned it.
Yeah.
And I think he had a heart attack cutting the grass when my dad was 14 or 15 and died. But then my grandmother built the store on Lynch Street.
Okay.
And it was like an old school Totsum store.
Now, was Totsum an actual name of a store? That's what they were called.
So that's what they were called.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't have a Totsum store, but it was the same concept. It was called Bowles Corbett.
Okay.
His last name's Bowles, Bolls. And so they had that. And then over the years, they were kind of like roadside stands with the open air.
Yeah.
Kind of like what's her name? What's the fruit stand, the vegetable stand there in front of Pearl High School? Miss Berries. Berries.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
That's how Totsum stores kind of were.
Okay.
And some had gas, some didn't. But yeah, that's really cool. But then over the years, of course, as Lynch Street went to hell in a handbasket, you don't just build up brick walls. You build up cinder block walls, roll down doors,
metal doors. Yeah,
and you would have thought this building would have been impenetrable.
Yeah,
and they started breaking in roofs. They started busting in the cinder block walls and everything else to get in. Let's tell you what, man. Somebody's calling in that knows the number without me having to give it.
Okay.
On the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on there. Hey, you're on there.
Hey, can you hear me, Clay?
Yeah. Hey, is it Scott?
Sorry, my Bluetooth. I don't have a lackey to handle that technical stuff for me. So trying to work it out myself. Hey, this is Scott. Yeah, thanks for taking my call, man.
Yeah, brother. Well, you had some good text on the felon and firearm conversation, so we're glad to hear your thoughts on it.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. Well, just a couple of other things to just kind of dovetail on what you're talking about. First off, straight up cash, homie. You're gonna give us $2,000. Actually, give us $2,000, and it's just in time for the Christmas shopping season. I don't want to wait for a tax credit to file my taxes and all that stuff in March or April, whenever. Do it now. It'll have more of an impact for people coming up on the holidays if you're going to do it at all. So that's kind of how I feel about that. They can, everybody, Trump can tout that he paid for Christmas for everybody this year, or tariffs paid for Christmas. Make Christmas great again. Tariffs work, whatever his slogan is.
100% on that. I mean, I'm not. Why would anybody be against our government giving us money that our government made? I mean, those tariffs, that's profit.
Yeah.
That should absolutely, and that's actually been one thing I've kind of in the back of my mind, kind of quietly wondered. Well, if the government's making money, what are we doing with that money? I guess it could pay down the debt, of course, but shouldn't Americans, the ones who are financing this, get a cut of this or get a tax break or something?
Yeah. I mean, it's our own money, part of our own money coming back to us, but the fact that it shows you that Trump he's done this in less than 10 months. I mean, you're talking 10 months. He's already talking about doing this.
Yeah,
I mean that's impressive.
These people that talk about, the economy this, the economy that, some of our Democrat friends on social media and some of our Rhino buddies that have tag teamed up because they just can't quite let their TDS go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, he's done this in 10 months. I mean, y'all don't understand how out of whack the economy was with the Bidenflation and everything, and still suffering from COVID and all the stimulus checks and everything that happened then. I mean, inevitably the country was going to have to pay the piper, and we have the last 4 years, 5 years. And it's no quick turnaround.
And you got to remember too, a lot of the Republicans in Mississippi, they were not originally Trump people. I'm talking on the first go round. They were Kasich people.
Yeah.
And they're still kind of mad about it. So when you hear, it causes a lot of infighting, which I just, this is a huge win. And again, I keep going back. Look at what all he's done in 10 months,
Yep.
So.
I mean, it was 1 year ago today, 1 year ago this week that we were sitting right here celebrating it.
Sorry to interrupt. Maybe Brother Shanes can elaborate on my final point. Mm-hmm. It is to do with tariffs. I mean, it's just, it hasn't been adequately explained. I just don't think people understand how much Trump knows about business. I mean, I've got a business degree. I don't use it for what I do for a living, but I took marketing 1 and 2, econ 1 and 2, accounting and all that. The fact is, it costs what it costs to make something and get it in front of the consumer. But the cost has nothing to do with the price. The price is what the market will bear. It's what you can get for it. Mm-hmm. Clay, your T-shirts, and your hoodies, you're like, how much can I get for these? Not I want to make $1 on every one. That's not what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's the most I can get, and they're still going to sell. That's the sweet spot. That's all it is. And if it costs you $10 to get your basketball bat to the consumer where they buy it and they're willing to pay $20, that's great. $20 is the price. And if you figure out how to make that bat for $5 and get in front of them, you're not going to lower it to $15 because you're already getting $20 and selling them like hotcakes. Yeah, so because you could have already been asking $15 at the $10 cost and been making $5. You pick $20 because that's what the market will bear.
Yeah, so I look online and I see people selling these hoodies for $50, $60 all day that, frankly, aren't as high of a quality of a hoodie as this one. That's why I'm selling them for $49 instead of $50 because, some of that is marketing. $49 is an easier sell than $50. It's like why car dealerships say $99.95. You know what I mean? It's kind of a mental thing there. But, you do what the market will allow. And look, I tell people all the time, look, yes, I'm making a nice little penny on these shirts and hoodies, but I also run specials all the time. But look, I'm asking my audience, support me because you like what I do. Because I give you I give you all the content y'all ask for. I never say no to just about anything. And B, you are getting a quality shirt, the T-shirts I sell are top notch. And I give you high quality stuff. I'm not giving you a shirt that costs me $3 to make. So yeah, thank you.
All of that is around you looking at the consumer, you looking at the market, what everybody else is getting for it. It's all, as long as you're making a profit, that's the first part of the conversation. First, you just need to make some money. But after that, what's the price and why is the price what it is? And a pair of Levi's 501 jeans from Malaysia, they're going to sell for $79.99 all day, every day here in a retail store. And it doesn't matter what it costs to get it here. That's the price. And so if tariffs add another couple of bucks to it for the Levi's Corporation, Levi's is like, well, the price is what the price is because we need to sell them and we need to get the most we can get at the quantity we could sell the most. That's why we picked that price. Price isn't going to change until they're actually losing money. That's how tariffs work. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're working so great. And I just don't think anybody's explaining that enough. I know Brother Shanks could explain it too. Plus, now some of this tariff money goes back to certain specific routes. I know in the first administration, he did tariffs on agriculture because farmers were getting killed. Well, he gave that money directly to U.S. farmers. Hey, you can't sell your product here because of cheap imports. We're going to tariff the imports and just give you the money.
That's interesting.
And that's what tariffs also do sometimes. They're specific to certain commodities and certain industries.
Yeah. I wasn't aware. I was not aware of that he did that. I mean, I was curious, but that is something I feel like that they should do a better job of promoting, and Trump being the self-promoter that he is, and I love that as a self-promoter. I'm surprised that we don't hear more of that, even in right-wing circles where he doesn't get, his message doesn't get squashed and shadow banned.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, go ahead.
You have these. The main press, the uninformed people still get the press that gives you all about 30 seconds to a minute. If you're a ag secretary or the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, as you mentioned earlier, I mean, it's the long form podcasters like Rogan, guys like you. These. That's where this education happens. It's not information; it's education that's needed. And I mean, you've already given me as a caller way more time than anybody else would normally give. But
well, you're a great caller.
It's important information. Well, I appreciate it, but but you got Fred sitting next to you. He didn't drive all the way over there just to listen to me.
Well, hey, great breakdown though.
It's
great
good content. It's good. Scott, look, we got to take our break, brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
All right. Scott, man, we go way, way back. He worked at my clubs with me, but he never. I don't know that he ever did it because he needed the money. He was just a great guy to have around.
Yeah.
Always level-headed, very well-informed, intelligent dude. He's in loss prevention stuff and just does just great stuff. He's like safety stuff too. He may not be in loss prevention anymore, but like without getting too much into his business, he helps people with like OSHA type safety.
And
whatnot. Yeah. So anyway, good guy. Hey, when we come back, I want to dive into. There's a war brewing in the right-wing media circle. You have guys like Ben Shapiro and some of these other establishment Republican media figures. And if y'all have listened to me for a long time, I am not a Ben Shapiro fan. I've told y'all that he's not real MAGA. He's really not even a real Republican, in my opinion. He's never been a Trump supporter. He was a Hillary supporter, for God's sake, in 2016 over Trump. So y'all forgave him. I never did. And now his true colors are showing again. I want to talk about him. I want to talk about Levine and all these people that are coming after Tucker Carlson for having the audacity to have Nick Fuentes on his show. And why are they so scared of Nick Fuentes? This is where the marketplace divided. I'm not going to give it all away. Y'all I got a lot to say. We're going to play a snippet of Ben Shapiro running to CNN to cry about Tucker and Nick Fuentes. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show with our in-studio guest, State Rep Fred Shanks and Damian Donald. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios on a Monday morning, motivational Monday, a men's motivation Monday. You know, guys, like I've reached a point in my life where I don't dread it being Monday anymore. I'm like, hey, God bless it. I made it to another day, any day, right?
It's turned into my favorite day of the week.
Dude, real talk. It has mine too because, man, on the weekends, I'm so susceptible to getting myself into trouble and kind of having to keep myself uber distracted to not be out in the bars. And nothing wrong with the bars. I got a mission right now. I got a goal I'm trying to hit. And, yeah, there's kind of a bad connection over there, Fred. I'm sorry. But I got a mission and a goal that I'm trying to hit right now. And if I'm going out and partying too much and taking advantage of Sunday fun day like I like to, it's keeping me from my mission at hand, which is becoming the number one guy in media in the state of Mississippi. And period, not just radio, not just all of it. I want to be the guy you think of when you think of streamers and content and media in Mississippi. And going out and partying and stuff right now, it knocks me out of the race for a couple days. And so I'm just glad that when Monday gets here, it's boom, it's focus, it's hit the ground running. You know, my friend Corey died a few weeks ago. I made a Facebook post about this yesterday, but my buddy Corey died. It drove that fact home even harder that, man, I got, you know, tomorrow is absolutely not promised to us. Could sit down in a chair and have a dang heart attack and come up short on the race I'm running, and I refuse, Lord willing, to do that.
You know, a guy that one of my colleagues told me that a good while back. He said, son, life ain't no dress rehearsal.
No.
And I've never forgot that. I think that's a great way to explain it. But you got to wake up and get it.
Yeah, like I've sat there and I'm like, well, I got this excuse or I can't do this because of this. And all that's just that, man. It's just damn excuses. And that's why I'm trying to bring my buddy Damien here along with me. I've seen him doing good work from afar. And I was like, this guy can help me. And he understands politically we're aligned. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to find people that are good content people, good producers, good stuff that are aligned politically with people on the right, because the left has hijacked creativity.
Yeah.
And whether it's in the arts or whatever, you know, Fred, you and I, we won't say the name of the school, but you and I took a tour of a school here recently, and they showed us the audio video department and the damn trans flag hanging in there.
And it was an awesome department. Like it was decked out. It was awesome.
That's one thing about it, man, is they've got lots of money.
Yeah.
Right. They really do. I mean, they have a whole lot of money.
NGO money.
And then, exactly. Yeah. And they just push their agenda on everyone. I tell everybody, man, when they walk in my studio, straight up, man, look, be careful. Some of the stuff that you say, don't use these words, switch them with these words, because we've entered enemy territory, man.
Oh.
And to grow as a Christian content creator on YouTube or TikTok or any of those places that actively pushes the other side, they push left agenda.
They don't just push, they punish you for not pushing.
That's exactly right.
You know, you got to swap words out. People, I don't like it when you say unalive instead of kill.
I don't have any choice.
Well, you know, if we want this message to not get quote unquote shadow banned, there's words that we can't talk about. For instance, and we're going to get into this Ben Shapiro stuff, and I'm going to contradict myself a little bit because sometimes I think it's a conversation worth having. Mm-hmm. But if we get in here talking about too much Israel stuff, too much stuff about the Jews and all that.
Yeah.
My term that I'm really trying to wrap my arms around and kind of, I like to make little phrases and words and stuff. Ruthlessly authentic.
Yeah.
Or ruthless authenticity. You know, I want that to be something that people truly understand. That to me, I feel like that describes what we do here. We're ruthlessly authentic on this show and my platform and my life. And I don't know that I would be being ruthlessly authentic if I sat here and pretend to have Israel derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Because I just don't. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on over there? I am ruthlessly American first. And I don't care what's going on in Palestine. I don't care what's going on in Israel. I don't care what they do to each other. I don't wish ill on either one either.
Yeah, it shouldn't influence America.
It shouldn't influence America. Yeah. And I know people say, well, Clay, that's the problem is Israel's influencing America too much. I get it, and they shouldn't. But little old Clay Edwards, I don't feel like my message is best spent, that my time is best spent trying to slay that dragon on a local show in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, plenty of other podcasters are doing that nationally.
They are.
Every day.
Absolutely. And
ad nauseum.
And I'm glad. Yeah. That's them. And I'm glad that they're doing it because I think it's pushing listeners away that are tired of hearing about it. Just like I felt like people were tired of hearing about the COVID vaccine. Regardless of what you think about it, people are tired of hearing about it.
Yeah.
You know, so I quit talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Epstein list. Nothing. Again,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're a local radio show in Jackson, Mississippi. Yes, we have the internet, but let's just be honest. It's mostly local people, or people that have a tie to Jackson that listen to it, or Mississippi. So I try to keep the show 70%, statewide, local.
Yeah.
And those are because you can go get that content from anywhere. Mm-hmm. You don't have to get that from Clay Edwards. But what I do bring to the table and what the show brings to the table is the local version of these things. How does that affect us locally? Now, if we had a big Jewish base here that were messing with the purse strings and dictating media and paying media to push a narrative, we would talk about it more. But we don't have that here locally, I don't believe. I've never heard of the Jews.
We would have heard something.
Doing something like that here. And they don't like the term, the Jews, but at the end of the day, that's what Israel is. It's the Jews, but they do have a death grip on media, and not just news media, music, Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
All of that. So, I mean, there is a lot of propaganda that they use. But it is what it is. Let's play this. I've got this video here of Ben Shapiro. And yes, this is going to kind of dive into this topic, but this isn't me picking a side on it. This is me wanting to discuss, is this bad for the MAGA movement and sitting here fighting each other when we need to be fighting the left? I mean, but sometimes I do believe that these debates and these arguments need to be had in the public space so you can kind of figure out who's who and what's what, because I do want to know. I want to know whose side are you on? You know what I mean? So give me 1 second here. I'm trying to pull this up where I had the video here. This is Ben Shapiro going on CNN. He felt like CNN was a safe space for him to go have this argument about the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah.
That's
the one that's real spun up right now.
Right. So the Heritage Foundation kind of sided with Tucker just from a free speech perspective. So let's play this. This is about 3.5 minutes, and when we come back from this, we're going to go straight to break.
I think that Kevin really screwed things up last week when he decided to inject himself into this controversy with his vociferous defense that contained some rather charged language. I think he's doing the right thing by pointing out the obvious, which is that if somebody glosses Nazis on the air, that person probably should not be associated with a conservative think tank, and that everyone should have a duty to say that that is a bad thing to do. So I'm grateful to Kevin for doing that. I think it's a very good thing that he did that. The real issue here is I think that Tucker Carlson's morphing from, I would say, a very edgy right-wing political figure on Fox News, but certainly within the mainstream, into a conspiracist, a person who ideologically launders anti-Semitism, who ideologically launders all sorts of anti-Americanism on his show, and then airs it for the public to hear with interviews like the ones he did with Nick Fuentes, which was essentially a massage of Nick Fuentes. I think that took a lot of people by surprise, probably including Kevin.
The Washington Free Beacon obtained and posted video of yesterday's Heritage Foundation staff meeting where Roberts apologized for how he's handled Tucker's conversation with Nick Fuentes. Here's part of what Roberts had to say.
I didn't know much about this Fuentes guy. I still don't, which underscores the mistake. I can tell you with a clear conscience and not making any excuses that those were my intentions, to fix all of that. And obviously I didn't. I made them worse.
We reached out to the Heritage Foundation for comment about the video. We were referred to Kevin Roberts' social media post from yesterday. What's your reaction? And let me just note that Nick Fuentes has been fairly notorious for years now, including when he dined with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
I mean, I think that's true, but I think that really in order to experience the full wonders of the Nick Fuentes catalog, you really do have to spend some time going through the receipts. I did that earlier this week on my show. And the truth is that most people don't watch politics all that granularly. Even people who are in politics don't spend a lot of time on sort of the fringe edgelord right, the way that Fuentes is. And so the sort of mainstreaming, the popularization and normalization of Fuentes by Carlson is significantly more important than just Fuentes' existence, obviously. It was a seminal moment, I think, when it comes to the right's decision as to whether Tucker himself is a source of truth or whether he is a destructive force inside conservatism.
So one of the things you've noted is that it isn't so much, your problem isn't so much that Tucker Carlson had Fuentes on his show, but that he didn't push back at all on the neo-Nazi, anti-Semitic, pro-Joseph Stalin rhetoric, et cetera. I just wonder, last week at a Turning Point event, Vice President J.D. Vance was asked by a student about an anti-Semitic falsehood, this crazy notion that Judaism openly supports the persecution of Christians. It's not true. But J.D. Vance was asked about it. Instead of pushing back or correcting the questioner, he said this.
There are some significant theological disagreements between Christians and Jews. My attitude is, let's have those conversations. Let's have those disagreements when we have them. But if there are shared areas of interest, we ought to be willing to do that too.
What did you think of that?
You know, obviously in a vacuum, I think that answer is fine. I think it's a response to the question, which was asked, as you say, in a tremendously anti-Semitic way, the idea that Jews are persecutors of Christians is an absurd contention. Obviously, I would have preferred more from the vice president, but I think the broader problem here is, again, that you have an enormous number of young people who are engaging with true white supremacist, anti-Jew content and are taken in by it, and there do need to be more voices pushing back on that.
Ben Shapiro, we thank you for your voice. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, here live on WYAB, streaming worldwide, WYAB.com, of course, in stunning HD at SaveJXN on Facebook, YouTube, and X, and then over on Rumble at Clay Edwards Show. Be sure to hit like, subscribe, share, all of that great stuff at any of those places. This segment brought to you by our friends at El Patrio Mexican Grill and Cantina, 2 great locations to serve you right there in not downtown Brandon, but Crossgates Brandon, right in front of Crossgates Subdivision, next to Bops, across from the Brandon Library, Police Department, and all that good stuff. My good folks over there, love them to death right there at El Patrio in Brandon. And of course, you got the anchor location, the big location, right there in Dogwood, right by Burgers Blues Barbecue in front of Dick's Sporting Goods in Flowood. Swing by, check them out today. They got all kind of great specials for you. Good, authentic Mexican food. And I'm going to tell you, I just love the fajitas. I love the fajitas. Their salsa, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. And look, I talk about it all the time. I know y'all get tired of me saying it, but other than today, it's patio weather, which is margarita and cold beer weather out on the patio. But, you know, Fred, you've been to a bar with me once or twice.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like to go and sit down and not have anybody's dang kids running around hooting and hollering and be able to enjoy my drink.
That's right.
And at El Patrio, the bar area at both locations is separated by a wall from the family dining area. And on the flip side, when I'm with the kids and the family, I don't want all the hooting and hollering from the bar area.
Yeah.
So
Good
whichever,
setup.
they separate them nicely so you can kind of serve 2 masters, so to say, and then the patio kind of welcomes everybody.
Shaded.
We had an FAFO lunch on the patio there at El Patrio in Brandon a couple months back. I guess it's probably been a year now almost.
Need to do it again.
We had about 20 people show up to that thing, man. Probably, I think, the second most attended one ever, but the other one being at when we did it downtown at Old Tavern there.
Yeah.
You know, that aggravates me thinking about that. That's another conversation for another day. We do need to do an FAFO lunch again here soon. It's been a while. Every month is too much. It's a big ask for people, but I think once a quarter we need to bring that back. All right, let's jump into it, shall we? Y'all get by El Patrio today. I got a video here real quick. This is of Tucker and Nick Fuentes. It's only 1 minute long. I do want to play something that they said on this show that I felt like really, really hit home. It's, you know, they sit there, they'll accuse you of being a racist. They'll do all this stuff. And you know what? They'll eventually make you start thinking a certain way. Let them say it, and then I'll give my opinion on it.
Familiar with, you know, I was much older when it happened to me and much more insulated. I was not a college student. I was like 45. So, you know, and I was in a much better place to withstand the pressure. But I do think this is my main question to you is, when you get attacked, when people call you names, like they always call me racist, and I would always think to myself, I'm actually not. I would tell you if I was racist. I'm a little sexist, but I'm not racist. And I never understood why they did that. And then I thought maybe the point is to make me racist. Where you get to a point where you're like, well, if you're going to slander me, then I'll just become the thing you're calling me. I do think that's a feature of human nature, don't you? Mm-hmm. And if you stare too intently at the accusers, at the, you know, whatever Ben Shapiro's or Mark Levin's or Ted Cruz or whoever it is calling you names, it like distorts you and you actually change and become what they say you are.
Man, I think that is a absolute home run of a statement there, Damien. I know you missed the first part of that, but you caught the most important part of it there. They call you something long enough, and the people who are calling you that, begin treating you a certain way and talking to you a certain way, well, you do begin to have a disdain for the people who are constantly attacking you. For me locally here, it's a certain demographic of black folks that are constantly coming after me and calling me a racist and just saying doing these most vile things to me. Well, it is going to make me look at a particular group of people. If it's the same people over and over and over again treating me a certain way, well, guess who I'm going to have an extra side eye or a negative opinion about? The people who are constantly attacking me, and with them, it's more so the Jewish folks, the pro-Israel folks. So I get it.
Well, immediately the first time I'd ever heard of Fuentes, it was this guy's a bad guy. He's a Nazi. He's this. They immediately came out with this campaign against him, and I had no idea of his origin story. I didn't listen to him really, probably because of that reason. And then I found out he was on, Patrick Bet David, and then obviously did Tucker, and I kind of found out his origin story. And he started out as like an 18-year-old kid, kind of getting into the political world and having, he would have these little conferences, and he got on Shapiro's radar. And one of the ladies that worked for Shapiro is like, this guy's the next guy up. He can speak well. He's got it. And then I think that quickly turned into
because they start headhunting these kids.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Early,
it's a business
in the debate circles, and I didn't realize they were recruiting them that early and stuff.
Yeah,
and I learned a lot about the way all this works because you wonder how, where did these people
Charlie
come
Kirk
from?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But this kid's got it, and he's got all these big political folks coming to his events. And then I think the next thing, it was protectionism on this lady's part. And she's like, well, this guy's going to outshine me. And then it rolls into, well, not only that, he's going to outshine Shapiro. So then you start on this negative campaign, which is exactly the point you made. They kind of turned him into what they wanted, or at least to the public.
Well, yeah, because he was so young at the time, not realizing how the game was played, so to say, that he kind of bit into it.
Yeah.
And now, and if you've only seen some of his little skits and reels and snippets of him, and, like, he doesn't need to be saying the N-word. Like, you give them all the ammunition they want when you start using the N-word, or you start doing the thing they claim you do.
Yeah.
Like he's too smart for that. And he'll overcome all that.
Yeah. I think it's his age. I mean, he's what, mid-20s?
Yeah, young guy. He'll absolutely overcome all
shock
that.
Value.
It is the shock value. Yeah. That's exactly what it is, man.
Because I'm telling you, man, this Gen Z that's coming up, they don't care. They are here to offend you. They're actually the least and most offended group of everybody. The Gen Z reminds me a lot of Gen X. They really do. Like, they're going to be the ones that don't care because they've grown up and you've told them you can't do this, you can't think this, you can't say that, you can't do this. Well, why?
Yeah.
Well, because I said so. Well, you know how that goes,
right?
That
doesn't work anymore.
And it's just like telling everybody that you have to think a certain way, you have to be a certain way. Well, I want to know why. And sorry, I'm checking the caller ID there. So it's like marijuana. It's like drinking, for example. You tell somebody, this is bad, you can't do it. This is bad, you can't do it. Well, what does it make you want to do? It makes you want to try it.
There you go.
So the more you tell me that I'm not allowed to think a certain way, I'm not allowed to even ask questions. Well, why do we support Israel? Why is America Israel's BITCH? Why are we all these things? Well, you're not allowed to ask that. You hate the Jews? Like, no, I'm just asking a question.
Yeah.
And you're going to people's curiosity, and then you try to look. I'm a believer. I know I'm getting stumbling on my words a little bit here because I got a lot I want to say, and I got to be careful how I say it. I want to. I think the marketplace of ideas is what I'm getting at here. Let people like Nick Fuentes have his thoughts and opinions and put them out there. Ben Shapiro is scared.
Yeah.
Mark Levine, they're scared because they're the establishment and they're worried about losing their place.
Yeah, and they both have agendas, and they have been
especially Shapiro.
Yeah,
is worried about losing his place. Levine's on the back 40.
Yeah,
Shapiro is still young.
Yeah,
and Fuentes is the next guy. I won't be surprised at all if they don't kill him in the next year.
Hard to tell. I mean, I'm a big Tucker Carlson fan, and I'm glad he had him on there just to show a difference of opinion. And you do that, Clay, and that's why I like listening to the show. It wouldn't be fun if you just had the same, just the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other. That gets old.
Well, it's like I've said it multiple times on this show. It's why I post the things I do to social media and speak directly to the black audience. I don't want to talk about the black audience. I want to talk to the black audience and have a conversation with them. Look, it's way harder than people think it is to find people to get up and come out here to Florida, Mississippi at 7 a.m. to have these tough conversations. Everybody's got an excuse why they can't do this, why they can't do that. Let's take a call real quick on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on the air. You got about a minute. Hello? Well, call twice and you can't stay on hold for more than 30 seconds. It's going to be tough to get you on there. But
kind of to your point, we were this past month we were in Vicksburg, working on a movie set, and we ran into multiple people and African American people, and they knew who you were, and in a good way. They, in Vicksburg.
Met a guy at the gas station this morning. He's famous, and I met some black guys. Dude, I meet black people all the time. Yeah. That I'm not saying they support everything I say, but they understand, A, there's some entertainment value to this. There's an entertainment aspect to this. And B, that I am speaking some truth. One of my biggest detractors, a guy that I've known for a long time, Gerald Jabot, owns a radio station in Jackson. We've gone round and round and round. After those mass shootings around Mississippi that weekend, they're all tied to homecoming events and this, that, and the other. He made a Facebook post and finally said, man, maybe Clay Edwards ain't wrong. Maybe we just don't like the way he says it. I was like, you know what? I'll take that because it means that we're acknowledging that I'm not just pulling this stuff out of my butt and making things up here. Like, these are real things that are obviously happening, but trends exist for a reason. Stereotypes exist for a reason. Gambling odds are trends. They exist for a reason. It's because people look at things and say, this is a trend. This is something that's happening. What's happening in the black communities, there's a problem and nobody else has to speak on this. There's a problem with violence right now. If we continue to ignore it and pretend that it's racist to even discuss it, the problem's just going to get worse and fester into a bigger problem. And the longer we do that without acknowledging there's a problem, if the further away you are from solving the problem. It's like, can we just not acknowledge that there's a problem? Well, there's a problem in the white community too. Okay, well, let's address it too then. Yeah. But let's not continue to pretend that if we don't pretend the other group has the same problem, we can't talk about this group having a problem. And that's just not the case. Every group has different problems that need to be resolved. But there's not a violence issue to the extreme in the suburban white community that there are in like the urban black community in places like Jackson. Can we just address it? This problem over here needs to be addressed this way. Okay, well, we got a problem with such and such over here. Well, let's address it this way. It's not a one-size-fits-all fix them. All right, we got to take a break real quick. We'll be right back here to land the plane for the day on the Clay Edwards Show. 103.9 FM, WYAB. All right, we're back live on the internet. Don't put the headphones on. You'll just hear the other thing. Fred, did you want to follow up with anything, man? You look like you were ready to talk over there.
Well, one thing that you did kind of bring up, and I know a lot of your listeners are interested in, and you'd actually brought it up earlier. I heard it on the car ride over here.
Sports betting,
mobile sports betting,
yeah.
and we need it. And one of the things that, and I think we have a really, really good shot of doing it. I was part of when we brought in the lottery, and it's done a lot of good. Brings in about $140 million a year. And it works. Mobile sports betting will be bigger than that. And what we found is there are millions of Google searches out of Mississippi because the results were geofenced.
Yeah.
People asking for it. And I know
I've heard, maybe it was you that was telling me, not to steal your thunder here, but like on game day weekends, at the state line, there's hundreds or thousands of cars parked on the side of the road doing on the Alabama-Mississippi line, doing mobile sports betting.
So how that works is, and we would be the same way, if you were to mobile sport bet after we passed the bill, it would be geo-fenced in, so you would place your bet, but it would go through a Mississippi casino, so it keeps it in the state. Well, Alabama does the same thing. And it's so many Mississippians are driving into Alabama, pulling over to the side of the road. It is causing major traffic problems. Well, we're missing out. I mean, why don't we do it? And, I know a lot of people kind of in our age group, I really don't know any that go to the casino very much at all. But if they're sitting at home.
Nobody ever calls me up, let's go to the casino. When was the last time somebody called you and said, let's go to the casino?
I don't even remember.
Like at least here in the central Mississippi area, there's nothing about the food that sets them apart. There's nothing that makes me want to go over to Vicksburg to the casino or to Philadelphia for anything, unless there's like in Philadelphia, at least they bring some good concerts to town.
Sure.
But like there's nothing that I can't get right here in the Tri-County area that I can get at the casino other than gambling.
Yeah.
And I just think that like in casino gambling, that just feels like that is not a, and I'm just speaking as a white guy here, that is not a Gen X white thing anymore. Like my circle of friends just
Agreed.
Granted,
yeah.
my circle of friends ain't huge,
Yeah.
but like I just never hear about people going to the casino gambling.
No, and it would still benefit them. I mean,
Yeah.
because if you do it, it's going to go through a Mississippi casino. So I mean, basically, it's on a silver platter to them. And but yeah, all of our friends, watching the game on a Saturday or Sunday and put a little something on it.
Dude, before they outlawed it, I used to love to do the not the gamble on the games, but the gambling on the
like parlays and stuff.
No, the fantasy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The fantasy
yeah.
gamble. I'd gotten kind of good at that.
Yeah. That's
now
big.
It's been 6-7 years, however long it's been outlawed, since I've been able to do it. But I enjoyed, in wagering. I don't know, man. I make about $75 to $100 on a Sunday, or maybe I would lose, whatever.
Yeah.
But it definitely
Entertainment.
kept me way more interested and engaged in the games.
Yeah.
And now because we don't have a team here really, maybe you're a Saints fan, maybe you're a Cowboys fan. They both usually suck, kind of like being a State fan, and I'm a State fan. I'll say
Me
that.
too. It's been rough, man.
It has, but I'm just not nearly as engaged in sports as I used to be.
Yeah.
My engagement would definitely come back if I could wager a little bit on it without having to drive to the casino.
Yeah.
To do it.
Oh, it would be huge. It'd be way bigger than the lottery. It really would.
Oh, 100%. And there's going to be some downsides to that too, unfortunately, because of people and addictive personalities and everything. But I don't think that, me, man, I don't think we should be restricting or outlawing anything. Prohibition does not work. Let's be quiet for just a second. We're about to come back from the break here real quick. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. As we land the plane here for the day, we got about a minute left. Fred Shanks, thank you for coming in.
You got it.
Damian Donald, thank you for sitting in with me today. Guys on radio, we just had a great conversation during the break there about mobile sports betting and its possibility of coming to Mississippi. Fred, 20 seconds or less. Will mobile sports betting get done?
I think this is the year. It's unfortunately it's frustrating. I'm a big proponent of it, as I was with the lottery. Lottery's done great. Sports betting will be even bigger. It'll be huge.
Huge.
Big time.
It'll be huge. All right, guys. Coming up next, Andrew Gosser, followed by Lindsey Beckham, then Kim Wade.